Parties of ISDA Master Agreement. Corporates. In the previous video, we have learned about type of parties who enter into ISDA Master Agreement, which was an outline or introduction. In this video, we are going to learn about corporate, which is one of the most common entity to enter into relationship in ISDA Master Agreement. Here you can see there are so many bodies that are involved in incorporation of company or regulating a company which is company or to a company which is already incorporated. Now let us try to understand each of these bodies. First, the Company Act, which lays out the rules and regulations how the company needs to be formed and how it needs to be governed. Again, every country has its own Company Act, and so in order to understand the companies of a particular jurisdiction thoroughly, we need to go through the Company Act of that state. This video presentation only gives high level overview, as it is altogether a different task to understand Companies Act of 195 countries on the globe. Now let us see the other entity, which is of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs under the government, which is the governing body of the corporate affairs of the state. It regulates and authenticates a company. This information can be found in registries through websites. This ministry would be again part of Ministry of Finance. Now the third body is Company Law Tribunal. Now this is a judiciary function. This exclusively deals with the disputes. This helps the companies to resolve the issues on various matters. The tribunal awards and penalizes as per the acts committed by the companies. Now tax department, which collects the taxes as per the direct and indirect taxes of the state. The companies are obligated to pay taxes regularly as stipulated by the law. The tax exemption to certain entities under certain jurisdiction also play a significant role in the way the company is operated. Now, when it comes to the listed companies, which means companies listed in stock exchange, Securities Exchange Commission or board plays a big role in enforcing compliance and restrictions on the company. It lays out the procedures of the company if it wants to list and sell shares in the stock exchange, and also states the regular compliance which it needs to follow. Now, stock exchanges are also governed and supervised by Securities Exchange Commission. However, stock exchange also have its own bylaws and companies need to follow if they are listing in their exchange. Apart from these bodies, the company also needs to comply with all local laws and regulations like environmental laws, municipal laws, so on. So there are multiple things when it comes to incorporation of a company or the governance of a company. The company during the process of incorporation is issued a name, registration number, constitutional documents, also mentioning the place of incorporation and date or the creation of the company. The company also have constitutional documents like memorandum and articles of association. Please note, this is a high level discussion on the company and its incorporation and the procedures it is governed. If one desires to learn more about it, they need to look all the aspects specific to the jurisdiction the company is incorporated. Here we are only trying to understand the company being a party to this the master agreement. There are different kind of companies like corporations, public limited companies, private limited companies, limited liability companies, so on. Again, these are very jurisdiction to jurisdiction specific. I would not go into detail as these are structured in different ways in different countries. You can do further research based on the jurisdiction. I know this is very tedious task to do so much research to prove the capacity and authority of the company before it enters into the ISDA. There are many law firms and legal portals which could help with this data, with their data and opinions to ascertain this thing. This becomes more significant if you do not understand the language of the constitutional documents. For example, I can understand and read English, so for me understanding constitutional documents of a British company, American company or Indian company is easy. However, I do not know the languages like German, French, Spanish, Chinese or Japanese. These languages are official languages in many countries. In some jurisdictions and constitutional documents, they are bilingual, like native language and English. The situation again helps in this case. Now, let us look into the constitutional documents or formative documents. Again, the explanation given under each constitutional document is general assumption of what it contains based on what I have seen over time. However, this will significantly vary from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Certificate of incorporation is one of the most common formative documents. This ascertains the naming conventions like limited, private limited, like PTY, so on. Registration or the company number, place of incorporation, and the date of the incorporation. Articles of association helps us to understand the constitution of board and its directors, the power and the limitation of the directors. This confirms the authority of the company, who, who is it, and who is in charge of it. And in simple words, who is charge of what. Now, this is very important document from ISDA standpoint of view, Memorandum of Association. This tells the objectives, powers, restriction of the company. From ISDA perspective, we should understand if there are any specific restrictions against trading derivatives. The company details in registries, it tells about the incorporation status and the related information. These are usually websites of Ministry of Corporate Affairs of a particular country. Example, MCA 21 website acts as a registry in India, or companies' house websites acts as a registry for England and Wales. The other kinds of documents like bylaws that a corporate entity may have as a constitutional documents. Again, these depend upon jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Now let us see the legal capacity, how it can be performed, and more specifically from ISDA perspective. This thing can determine from the constitutional documents and regulatory restrictions of the particular country. Constitutional documents convey the investment objectives of the company. This can be found in Memorandum of Association or at times Articles of Association depending on the jurisdiction. From ISDA perspective, you should ascertain if there are any specific restrictions with related to trading of derivatives. Now every country has their regulator controlling trades. This is also with derivatives. There are favorable countries where regulators have good control and checks in place, and majority of derivatives can be traded here. But there are jurisdictions where they have severe curbs in trading derivatives. They might have weak procedures and mechanism to monitor trades. These kind of countries might put restrictions on trading few derivatives or if not all derivatives. This becomes very important from perspective if we want to trade a specific kind of derivative which has been restricted in our counterparty's jurisdiction. Now let's understand authority. This can be found mostly in the Articles of Association. This helps us to understand the constitution or the composition of the board. One has to see the powers of the board members and signing authority to determine the authority. In this video, we have learned about corporate or a company, which is one of the most common entities to enter into the relationship in ISDA Master Agreement. In the next video, we are going to learn about limited liability partnership if it is a party under ISDA Master Agreement. Please send your feedbacks to derivatives.documentation@gmail.com. Do subscribe to receive updates from the channel Derivatives Documentation. Thank you.